Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. It's Doherty Hots, and today we're going to be going over some of my points that I have made here to get better at ranked and how to improve and rank up. So I am a Master Heroes of the Storm player with over 8,000 levels and a year and a half straight worth of gameplay. Um, so today I wrote down, I made a simple little Word document here with all of the little bullet points of things that I think that you should do in ranked to just rank up faster and play better. So the first little bullet point on my list is quality over quantity. And what does that mean? Well, you can go in there and you can look at some of these Storm League players, and you could see that they might have, like, I saw this dude the other day. He had 700 wins and 700 losses, and he was Diamond 5, right? And then you can look at like Grandmaster players, right, who have in one season like 350 games, but they're Grandmaster like rank 10, right? So what that comes down to really is that it is the quality over quantity, and I believe that there is a certain point in time when you are kind of ready for ranked, right? So like you should, if you don't feel that you're ready for ranked, you should kind of learn the game more in quick match and in ARAM, and then come back to ranked when you're really ready. If it's going to take you 1,400 games to get to Diamond 5, I would say you probably weren't ready for ranked at that time. If your win rate isn't at least above 50%, I wouldn't even try to play ranked, right? So the quality of your ranked games will take you much farther than just trying to grind it out and say, hey, eventually I'll get there. It might take me, 3,000 games, but hey, eventually I'll get there. Don't play ranked like that, because not only are you going to be kind of just sitting around waiting for games forever, but also it's just not fun to have to play that many games, right, and not get anywhere, right? Like, no one wants to put a lot of time into something and really not go anywhere because of it. So that's my first bullet point, is quality over quantity. Try and make the few games that you do play less games, and make those few games, try and make those games a little bit better. Try and play to your full potential, pick your best heroes, and just do the best you can. Be a good teammate, be nice, and make those games quality over quantity. Try and place higher, and then you'll have to climb less. All right, next bullet point we have is psychological aspect. Now, what does that mean, psychological aspect? Well, it means that you need to stop getting so upset. When things don't go your way, when shit hits the fan, and when the game's not going great, and you start tilting and being angry to other people and yelling at people, it doesn't really help anything. The way, and not only that, it doesn't just come down to your toxicity in game, which can make the game worse, but it also comes down to psychologically for you. If you're raging, if you're upset, if you're tilting, if you're angry, if you're negative, if you're not in a good headspace, there's physical chemicals that release in your brain, right? Like when you're angry, when you have emotion, when you're sad, when all of these emotions are released, it releases chemicals in your body, adrenaline and other things, and not serotonin. And these chemicals make the decisions in your brain faster, right? Because in a life or death situation in the wild, where you would actually need adrenaline, where it would just make you act immediately, start running away or fighting for your life, whatever you had to do, these chemicals are primal. And so when you get angry, or when you get upset, or when anything happens, even depressed and kind of emotional, or upset, or upset with what people may be saying to you, and you start taking things personally, it actually makes you play worse. You cannot make proper decisions when you're very angry, and so you will play worse when you are angry. You will die more, you will do worse, you will be a toxic player to your teammates more if you're not psychologically in a good headspace. So getting a good night's sleep, eating a healthy meal, maybe even taking some vitamins, take some omega-3 supplements, DHA, stuff like that. Sounds crazy, right? But I mean, this is a competitive game. It's a competitive environment. So anything you can do to augment yourself and improve really is not a bad idea. So maintain a proper headspace. Just be in a good spot, and don't be upset, don't be depressed. When shit happens, it's just a game at the end of the day, right? And you could play another one. Next rule, teammates are not enemies. So a huge mistake I see a lot of people making is treating their teammates like enemies. Basically just talking mad shit to them. And there's no way that you are going to win a game if you're just sitting there flaming your teammates, talking trash and saying how terrible they are, and not coordinating, not telling them what they did wrong. There's a difference between saying, hey, please stop dying, and you fucking noob, uninstall, get off my team, right? So this is kind of self-explanatory. Like, you need to work with your team. Treat your teammates as teammates. Don't treat them as enemies. Work with them, coordinate. You'll find it's a much more positive experience if you do that. Coordination of comp and playstyle. So this is another thing, is that in the draft, that seems to be the time when people communicate the most. Now, of course, that's a good thing, right? People coordinating in a draft about what they want, what the synergetic combos are, what heroes they're going to play. Who's going to solo lane. But then also coordinate your play style, right? Oh, hey, I want to gank. I want to do this. These are our plans. Ping this, ping that. That goes into my next bullet point, which is ask for voice, paste Discord or team chat. So a lot of people do not use voice when they're playing ranked with other people because, I don't know, for whatever reason, they just don't see that useful. But it's a lot easier to use your microphone than it is to type during a game, right? So you can sit there and you can type, and that will take away from your ability to play the game. But if you talk, then that doesn't take away from your ability to play the game, and you're able to coordinate with other players vocally. So, excuse me, sorry. At the start of a ranked game, ask if the people are willing to join voice, or you could even paste a Discord in the team chat. Now, I wouldn't recommend posting like your personal Discord if you're playing with randos. Probably just make a little Discord and paste that one, just so that if there are any noobs in there that end up getting in, you can just you have your own little Discord. It doesn't matter. Be more flexible and comfortable on different heroes. So that really comes down to, if you're a one-trick pony, then you're going to need to follow some of my other bullet points down here. And we'll get to that later. But if you're a one-trick pony, you should take a break between your games, whisper enemies. And when I say whisper enemies, I mean basically just whisper them so that you can see them in your recently whispered players list. So you can see them there, and you can see if they're in a game, and see if they can, all the people that you just played against, let them find a game before you queue up again so you don't get banned or countered if you're a one-trick pony. But this also goes to my other rule, which is be more flexible and comfortable on different heroes. So, if you're a one-trick pony, then you are easily countered and you can be banned. But sorry, it's early here. If you have a good amount of heroes that you're flexible and comfortable with, then that's a lot better for you. Because think about it. Now, if one of your heroes gets banned, or if they pick a team that it's not really that good into, or it's not the best map for them, then it doesn't matter. You have a couple heroes that you are pretty comfortable with. So it's good to be flexible enough to be decent at one hero from each role. Be good at a tank, be good at a ranged assassin, be good at a melee assassin, good at a mage, be good at a bruiser, be good at a healer. At least one. And I'm not saying you have to master them, but be good at least one hero from every role. So if it does come down to where you have to fill because your teammates are stubborn, you can do that. Master a few heroes. So this comes down to, you should have 2, 3, 4 heroes that you're just very comfortable with. You've played a lot of games with them and you're comfortable playing them, and you could play them in ranked all day long and do pretty well. Now, the reason why I say a few and not just one is because you don't want to become memorable and become bannable and become counterable, right? Because if people in Storm League start remembering who you are, it's a small community, then you will be all of the above. Countered, banned, whatever it is. This is a really funny one, but I love this one. If you're an offlaner, offlane. I can't tell you how many times I see people draft an offlaner just to have one of the other members of their team go do that job. So I'll give you a perfect example. In one of my games earlier, I was playing Li Ming, and I did 140,000 hero damage, and I think I had like 13, 14, 15 kills or something like that. But the Dahaka would not go to the off lane, so I was having to pick that up a lot of the time, and my team ended up dying a lot on the camp, and we almost lost the game because the Dahaka wouldn't go soak, or we were losing our keep, and the Dahaka wouldn't go soak it. So I was like, okay, if he's not going to go, I'm going to go. And then he went to the camp, and they all died. And we were able to come back and win later. But yeah, if you're an offlaner, then do your damn job. Don't go to the fight and ruin it, because now you're pulling someone else that needs to be in the fight to the off lane, and the roles are just messed up. The offlaner in a team fight is not great. I'm not saying that if the offlaner is there with the other 4 members of the team and you're all fighting together, that's fine. But I'm saying if one of the members of your team is having to do the job of the offlaner because he's coming to fight, that's just ass backwards. Think about that. What's happening is, the person that could actually do damage is just sitting there clearing waves, and the dude that's good at clearing waves is in the team fight. It's just terrible. If you're an offlaner, go to the damn offlane and sit there. Even if the opponent isn't in that lane with you, get that free experience. Why not? You can rotate. I'm not saying don't rotate, but I'm also saying you should do your job as an offlaner because it's important. Next one, this one's, we really don't need to say anything about this. Don't play when tired or drunk. If you're tired, you're probably not going to play as well. Don't play ranked when you're tired. And if you're drunk, you're probably not going to do great. So don't play ranked when you're drunk. Practice the 2-loss rule. What is the 2-loss rule? Well, it's basically once you have 2 losses, you should just take a break. It doesn't need to be the longest break, but you need to take a break. Once you've lost 2 games in a row, that should, tell you, hey, something's going on. Maybe I'm not playing with the best crowd right now, or maybe I'm not all there. Whatever it is, you already lost 2 games. That's almost a whole rank, like tier, not division, but tier. Like I could go from, let's say Diamond 5 to Diamond 4 if I lost 2 games, right? Or if I won 2 games, depending on how many rank points I'm getting at the time. Yeah. So it's like 2 losses is kind of serious, once that happens, yeah, it's a good rule to have. You lose 2 games, just take a little break, come back at it and maybe you'll do better. Go play quick match or something. Aim to play higher and climb less. So this comes down to when you're placing, try and really do well on those placement games, play your best heroes and try and place as high as possible so that you don't have to climb as high, right? It'd be much better to just place right into plat than to crawl all the way through silver and gold, right? Because think about it, the players in these lower leagues are going to be harder to play with. They're not going to be as good, and those games are going to be much more difficult. It's better if you just place with better players so that you can have a better time. So winning streaks can award you 580 rank points per game. I think like the highest you could get is maybe 585 or maybe 600. I don't know. I've never seen it go that high, but yeah, you can get like 580 rank points per game. Like 400, 500 is a lot, but basically if the matchmaking system determines that you don't really belong where you are and that you're better than that, it will start awarding you way more rank points. So the way that you have to do this is go on a winning streak. If you go on a winning streak, you can start earning up to almost 600 rank points per game. And so that means if I play 2 games, I'll go from plat 5 to plat 4. That's where I got that from. So yeah, it's huge, and the 2-loss rule, maybe, usually the average amount of rank points per game is like 200, 180, something like that, right? So it wouldn't really be like from plat 5 to plat 4 if you lost that. But yeah, if you're on a winning streak, or you're favored, or you're on a losing streak, you will start, or actually losing streak, you can't lose more rank points, but winning streaks, you can earn more rank points. Lose less rank points by playing to your full potential. So what that means is that even in the games where you're kind of getting stomped and you're like 3 levels behind because your team is just dying, still play well. Don't feed, soak the lane. You'll end up losing like only 180, 160 rank points, and it will be easier to recover that back in the future. Don't be too hard on yourself when you lose. You're 1/5 or 1/10 of the equation. So you can look at this equation either way you want to, right? Out of your team, you're only 1/5. If you include the enemy team with that, you're only 1/10 of the equation. So, when you lose, don't be too hard on yourself. It's not always your fault, right? there are a lot of factors that go into the game, and you can't blame yourself, right? I mean, of course, if you died 9 times and you did really bad, yeah, you can blame yourself, and you need to improve. But don't be too hard on yourself, because there are a lot of other things that go into the game, and sometimes at the end of the day, there's just nothing you can do. Don't go at it alone. So if you're going to be playing Storm League, it'd be nice to have a group of friends that are dedicated, 3 or 4, for that matter, that can play with you, and you guys, or even a duo partner that you guys can play with, and so that you don't have to go at it alone. That way you can have someone in comms you can coordinate with. It kind of takes the stress off of it. It helps you coordinate a little better. It helps you synergize, and at least 2 people are working in tandem, which is big. If you are a one trick, and we talked about this before when I was saying something up here, I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah. If you're a one trick, take a break between your games. Whisper enemies and allow them to find a game before you queue up again, so you don't get banned or countered. So yeah, if you're one trick pony, then like for example, I'll tell you, so that we went on I think my buddy got almost Diamond 1 playing Cho'Gall with me. I think we won 10 Cho'Gall games in a row in ranked. And the way that we did it is we played Cho'Gall, and as soon as the game ended, we would whisper every single enemy on the opposite team that we just played against. And if you want to see their names, you can go to the watch, like the watch a replay, and you can see all the names of the players there. And so then you just go to your chat, you type /W and their name, and now all their accounts will come up, and you can see if they're in a game or not. So we use that as a method to wait until they all get into a game so that we didn't get banned. Because a lot of the time, we would go into the next game and they would ban Cho'Gall. So we had to prevent that. Or they would counter us, right? And, if you played against your counter a lot, you kind of get comfortable with doing it, and it's not that much of a counter. So that applies to us. We would still get countered a lot because it's Cho'Gall. They'd pick Tychuses, they'd pick Malthaels, they'd try and play the map. But we're kind of used to that, so we know how to play around it, right? I'm not going to sit in a Tychus minigun and just get gunned down, things like that. Be flexible so enemy has a harder time countering and banning you. So that, goes back to what we said before. Be more flexible on multiple heroes, right? You're more unpredictable. They can't just look at your name and be like, oh, I know that guy. He's a blah, blah, blah one trick, right? If you're more flexible, then it will actually make it more difficult, because then they'll say, I have no idea what to ban. I don't know. Just, they'll only be able to go by the map, not by who you are. Do counterpick, but don't counterpick too hard unless you're comfortable with that hero. So this goes back, Cho'Gall actually taught me this really well. Is like when my buddy and I would play Cho'Gall a lot, and a lot of people would counterpick us in rank. They'd always pick the Tychus, and the Tychus was the funniest one against Cho'Gall, because we could tell that these dudes just had no idea how to play Tychus, right? So the only reason why they picked Tychus was they were like, okay, Tychus is a percentage damage hero. He's great. He's going to be good against Cho'Gall. Which one of you guys can play Tychus? And the dude that's like level 4 with Tychus, that's played him 5 times in ranked, is like, oh, I'll play him. And that really does come across, right? Because all I have to do is pull the Tychus in as Cho'Gall, pull him in with Upheaval, pull him right into the fort and kill him. And yeah, it really does come across. Like, you should counterpick in ranked. It's huge, right? Counterpicking is big. You can just kind of shut down certain heroes because you have a big counter for them. So I'm not saying don't counterpick, but I'm saying don't counterpick if you're not really that comfortable with the hero. It's better to pick an actual hero that you're good at playing and do that, rather than pick a hero that you tried to counter someone with, but you have no idea how to play them. So I kind of made this order of operations, which is comfort pick is over map pick, which is over counter pick. So it might seem crazy to you that comfort pick comes first, but comfort pick comes first for a lot of reasons. Is that you're better at that hero, right? Your skill matters in ranked. Being good at something matters. So a comfort pick is always the priority there. You want to play something that you're good at in ranked. And it doesn't mean that if that's going to fuck up your draft that you're going to do that, but it just means that, if you have the ability to pick a hero that you're comfortable with, that is your first order of operation. Then after that, map pick. There are just certain heroes that are just so good on certain maps, right? And if you don't pick them, like Battlefield of Eternity is a perfect example, right? There's kind of a meta to that map, and that meta is so important, even more important than your counter pick. And the reason why is because if you don't have good Immortal race on Battlefield of Eternity, you just kind of lose, right? If they pick really good Immortal race, really good auto attack damage, they'll always win the Immortal. And it's a very team fighty map because it's, you know, very open in the middle and there's no lanes there. So if they have a very strong auto attacker that can race and beat you, it's really gonna suck. Try to flame teammates less. So it is pretty easy to talk shit to other people in this game, but it doesn't always go that far. It doesn't always help you. Guess I got a ghost in the room or something. There's some shit falling in the background. Keep a positive outlook. So a positive outlook is important for many reasons, and I think the biggest one is it lets you have a clear picture of what needs to happen in order to get that win. If your brain is in the mode of this is what I need to do to win, this is what we're pushing, you're kind of planning out exactly what you need to do to win. If you have a positive outlook, you're like, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that, and we're going to do this. And so you're mapping out exactly what needs to be done, and your head is in the right space. If you don't keep a positive outlook and you're very negative, then there's something called self-fulfilling prophecy, or the law of attraction, which is basically that if you believe something so much to be true, or if you keep insinuating it, it actually is more likely to come true. So if you're just negative, depressed, oh, we're just going to lose this game again, you probably are, because you are insinuating it. You are attracting that to happen because of the way that you're acting. The next rule that we have, what grandmasters say is meta doesn't always apply to you. Different ranks have different playstyles, heroes, and more. So a lot of the time you see these people that are maybe in silver or gold, they'll go into like a Twitch streamer that's grandmaster, and they'll ask them, what are your meta picks? Or maybe they'll look at like a pro team meta guy. And, some of these pro team meta heroes are like Chromie, Sylvanas, all this. And like, yeah, those are fantastic heroes in any rank if you master them. But all I'm saying is that different ranks have different playstyles, heroes, and more. And there's going to be different ways to counter and different meta picks in different ranks, right? Because in like silver and gold, people don't know exactly what they're doing yet. So they might pick shit like Butcher, right? So now if you pick like a Chromie or a Sylv into Butcher, there's nothing wrong with that. But it'd be better to just counter the Butcher, right? Just pick an Artanis and just blind him. Pick a Johanna and just blind him. That is why, Johanna is probably and Artanis are really good in these lower leagues, because they can counter heroes. So I think that every rank has a different meta, because there's a bunch of different heroes played. And every rank has a different playstyle. So if some grandmaster says that this hero is really good, it doesn't always apply to you, right? You might not be comfortable with that hero. They might be more countered in your ranks and stuff. And so in different ranks, there's different things to do. And I think that there's different ways to kind of get through everything. Be compassionate and help your team. So I can't tell you how many times I've seen a Li Ming orb coming in, and the teammate right next to them is about to die to it, but the other guy doesn't block it for him. Why not help your team and block the orb? You're full health. You need to help your team. Be compassionate, be more understanding, right? Like, there are times when you've been there too. And you can't be upset. You got to help your team. Like, there are times when that orb was there to kill you too. Pick wombo combos in the draft. That's self-explanatory. Try and combo with your team and do good things. Don't stagger or feed. Don't stagger or feed. It's huge, simple rules. Understand good matchups and counters and play accordingly. Don't sit there as the Deathwing against the Tychus that's drilling you. Try to secure an early game advantage and hold on to it. The comeback mechanics of HOTS have dwindled as they have nerfed a lot of late game heroes. Back in the day, there was this shit at late game like Azmodan. Q used to do a lot more damage. Sergeant Hammer, BFG, you were just practically on a timer until they won the game, right? So a lot of this late game stuff has kind of gone away as the game has become more snowbally. So if you secure an early game lead and you continue that, you're most likely going to hold on to it unless you throw, unless, you know, they have a huge comeback, unless it's Towers of Doom, the biggest comeback map in the game. So I hope this video helped you. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and a comment and subscribe if it did. You can also find me at twitch.tv/DohertyHots. I do stream on there a lot. Come check me out. I really do hope this video helped me. Or helped you rather. I've been playing this game for so many years, and it's just a pleasure to share my knowledge with you guys. I remember playing ranked even like 7 years ago, not gonna lie. But yeah, these are little things in ranked. You know, don't take it too seriously. Just get out there, have some fun, and try and be a good teammate. You know, there are too many toxic players out there. Don't be one of them.